Well, good afternoon and welcome to episode 95 now of the show here, Night and Times. Today, we're doing it live from the studios here at Narrowena. Last time, we talked about grilled cheese, okay? So that video is up for you now. Today, we'd like to talk about calming the nerves when going for a new job or starting a new job. And joining me now in the studio, it's a very good afternoon to Alex Taylor.
Good afternoon, Barry, and thanks for having me here and on the show.
And the importance of getting ready for a job or to start a new job. Well, first, you have to go for an interview to see whether you are acceptable for the job. Here's Alec now to open episode 95 with this.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. Yeah, that's right. So when you're looking for a new job, you have to apply and go through an interview process. These days, quite often the first round of interviews is with AI or a robot. Sometimes it's not. And then you talk to different people in the organisation, go through a few rounds of interview, and then if you're the right person for the role and you're excited about the role, then you can become employed.
Now, before you start the new job, you must always put in your resignation from the current job that you are doing. Here's Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're in one role and looking to start a new one, you have to tender your resignation. And most organisations, depending on your type of employment, they will need a bit of lead time, a little bit of time where you can kind of work out your contract. And that could be as little as a week or as much as, 3 months. And so then you let your current employer know and then go to your new job.
And you will need to write a resume of what you did at your current job as well. Sort of like your name, what you did in the current job, your date of birth, where you live, that sort of thing. Here's Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. So a resume's got to have all of those things, and then summarise your work experience. So talk about the things that you've been doing in your current job and in previous jobs, and then the potential employer can have a think about, do those things fit with this new job opportunity?
And it's always important to be ready for an interview. Okay? Wear smart attire for your interview as well, and you will get notified of when the interview is, where it's at, and what time it will be. Here's Alex.
Yeah, that's right. So you'll organise a time, usually with someone from people and culture or human resources in the organisation, and you have to think about, you want to look smart and professional, don't you? If you go to an interview, you want to make sure you wear nice clothes and prepare. So have a think about the kinds of questions you might be asked and how you might answer them.
And be honest with the person who is interviewing you. Here's Alex.
Oh, absolutely. So very important that you're really clear and honest and authentic. People can tell if you're not being authentic. So it's always very important to just be yourself and be open and clear about everything. And that way you can have a great relationship heading into the new job if you end up getting the job.
It's okay to feel nervous when you start a new job because everybody gets nervous, okay? And write down some tips about how to calm your nerves before you start the job. I wrote my offside here a list of things to help him get him out of that phase. Here's Alex.
Yeah, that was helpful, mate. So I appreciate the advice. I think everybody when they start a new job is a bit nervous. Very rarely is someone just completely confident and easily sort of smashing it out of the park. And when they first start, I think most people sort of are a little bit nervous and very keen to do well. So they're probably most people I think would have a little bit of nerves. And there are lots of different tips and tricks. Do you want to tell us some of the things, some of your suggestions for the tips and tricks?
Okay, then. Okay, relax, okay? Eat good, healthy, wholesome food, okay? Because you don't want to fill up on junk. Because you won't be able to concentrate at the job. And this applies for interviews as well. Here's Alex.
That's right. Yeah. So good food, good sleep. I think was one of your suggestions as well.
Yes.
To make sure you're well rested and feeling healthy and have had a bunch of a healthy diet. So you're in the best shape you can possibly be in for your starting a new job.
And if you're not sure on what to do, don't second guess and don't assume that you will know everything in the first week. Ask for help. There are people at the site that help you. Here's Alex.
Yeah, that's absolutely great advice, mate. So everybody, when they start a new role, has a lot to learn, and so it's important that you take your time to learn carefully and well. And if you need help, ask for it. Most organisations have people who can help you when you're learning in a new job. So that's very good advice.
And if you and don't just and get give yourself time to know your new employees as well and the place you're working at. Here's Alex.
Yeah, that's great advice. So it takes time, doesn't it, to meet people and get to know them and develop friendships. And it's very important to get along with the people that you work with. So take the time to meet people and have calm conversations and get to know them as individuals.
And if you're not well, okay, find a nice quiet place to get your bearings back because you may be a little bit nervous on the first day and in the first week because your tummy might be rumbling, okay, and that's not good. Here's Alec now.
Yeah, it's good to kind of clear your head, isn't it? So maybe on your first day at lunchtime, go for a little walk and just get a clear perspective. Have a sandwich, sit in the sun, enjoy the breeze, that kind of thing. That can be
But
really helpful.
remember, we said this before: slip, slop, slap. Here's Alec.
Oh, absolutely. And you've talked about that a few times, haven't you, on your show? Very, very important advice to give people is to be sun safe. And being sun safe means as you say, slip, slop, slap. Got to have a shirt and a hat,
and
sunscreen. Yeah, absolutely. So you've got to be sun safe. You don't want to get skin cancer, or even just burnt. Is not fun at all, as you well know.
Well, our next topic today is about daylight saving being here. So here's the next topic now. Well, daylight saving has now kicked in. It started on Sunday morning. So unfortunately, we have to get up in the dark. How annoying. But our bodies will get used to it. So daylight saving, what is it? Well, usually it would be 10 past 2, but it is 10 past 3 instead. This is called Eastern Daylight Saving Spring Summertime. Here's Alex.
Yeah, that's right, mate. So basically, to take advantage of the longer days in summer, some places, particularly places that are further away from the equator where the difference in the days is not as big, so where the difference in the days is larger, some places adopt daylight savings time. And it does mean that you wake up earlier, so you've got more daylight for the rest of the day. But of course, some places don't have it, right? So Queensland doesn't have daylight saving because their days don't get a lot longer during summer.
And daylight saving is where you can have dinner outside, have beach cricket, take the dogs for a walk along the beach. But again, just because it's daylight saving and you want more time in the sun, sleep, slop, slap. Because I wrote to Alec about sunburn and what can happen. Well, I'm going to talk about that in the next topic. So daylight saving will go until April next year. April 6th, I think it finishes. So it is really important, guys, that you enjoy daylight saving and you want to get out and about and do the things that you like doing. But remember, sleep, slop, slap. And if you're going to take a tea picnic to a park, make sure that you take fresh ingredients with you, like fresh barbecue chicken and salad. Here's Alec now.
Yeah, that's a great idea, guys. So it's lovely to take advantage of the longer day and have dinner out somewhere in a park or in a reserve somewhere, and to take your dinner with you. So maybe a cold chicken and some salad. But it is important, as you say, to take fresh ingredients and to kind of keep them cool as well. So you might want to take them in like a cool bag with
Or like, or an esky with some ice in it to keep your food and drinks cold. Because food poisoning, guys, it's not a good thing. Here's Alec.
Yeah, that's a good idea, mate. So an esky with some ice, just to keep all the food nice and cool, make sure it doesn't go off and doesn't make you sick. That's a very good suggestion, particularly in summer, right, where the weather's getting warmer and warmer.
And also, check the weather conditions as well before you plan the picnic, because that is very important. Here's Alec.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. So there are all sorts of reasons why you might actually want to kind of delay or reschedule your picnic dinner. And I think probably the big one is rain. So if you
And thunderstorms.
thunderstorms, absolutely. So if you know that there's some bad weather coming, rethink it. You know, don't head off to your picnic dinner. Just make sure that maybe make a different plan and maybe schedule it for another day.
So daylight saving, we all love it. We all like. You might like to take your dogs for a walk in the park, have some fish and chips somewhere. Anyway, but remember, after the fish and chip shop, is the fish fresh? Is the oil good? Because it may not be. Here's Alec.
Yeah, I think most um, shops that you go to, you can usually rely on the health standards. So if the shop is operating, they should be operating with good safety mechanisms and health systems, so that what you buy is not going to make you sick. I think most organisations in Australia are good that way. You have to be pretty unlucky these days to get sick from food poisoning from a store that's not using good health systems.
Well, coming up now, we have a tour of the outside of Oceania, not out the front this time, but out on the veranda here. So, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about where I live on the show today, and I'm going to close off with a few recipes as well. You are watching the Barry Fair Show, episode 95, coming to you from Narrowena. And do you remember the At Home with BJ Fair series? Here's Alec with that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I remember it. So I think it was last year. You were at home for a couple of weeks and ended up shooting some great shows based here at your place, including one where we went out and about and roamed around the local park across the road and lots of things like that. So yeah, I remember that really well.
So coming up, we have a tour of the house, but no rooms. I can tell you that there are 10 rooms there here, but I can't show you the other clients' rooms due to privacy. So stay with us. Well, here I am now outside my room, and you can see all the stuff on the door and the number plates. So here we go now down the corridor to the rest of our house. I can't show you any of the rooms at the moment. Okay. And that's the office there. I can't go in there either because someone's busy. And here we have the store.
Are you
The
working
store.
out?
No.
No.
And that's the dining room in here. And the kitchen here. Here now.
Hello, mate.
Here's Alec to tell you we're doing a tour.
Yep, absolutely. So we've just gone from your room down the corridors and headed to the other side of the house. Made it all the way to the kitchen.
And here we have the laundry.
Yep. It is.
And there it is there.
The all important laundry.
And the room in there, but we won't go there. And there's another room which we won't go into. And that's out the back here.
Do you want to go that way?
No, we won't be able to get back in.
Righto.
So back we go now to the studio. Due to privacy reasons, I cannot film the other rooms, but here we can.
What's this room, mate?
This is the common room.
Nice.
I'm just taking a look out the dog park from here.
Beautiful.
And now here we go back to the studio. And this is out here where the barbecue is and our vans. And here we are back at the studio. And I will just show you quickly my bedroom. And here it is there.
Nice, mate.
You may have seen it on the last video we did. And there's the tour. Welcome back to segment 3 now that the tour has been completed. We're going to be talking about today from the cake book, the Australian Woman's Weekly Cake Book. Now, this is a vintage edition cake book, okay? And this is a collector's book. And look at that yummy cake there. Here's Alec.
Oh, this looks fantastic, mate. Lots of fantastic ideas for making children's birthday cakes.
And I'll just read you what it says inside here before we go on with the rest. The Australian Woman's Weekly Children's Birthday Cake Book was first published in 1980 and has sold more than 500,000 copies. While it had been out of print for many years, we still get requests for it, often from mothers who remembers the cakes from their own childhood. But in response, we have pulled this book out of the archives and reprinted it again. So here it is, 30 years after it reappeared on newsagents throughout the century. The vintage collection of the cake book with the train on the cover. We have had to make a minor change. All of your friends are missing from its pages, but they've been replaced by other cakes you just love so much. Apart from that, we left it just as it was. A true collector's cookbook just for you.
Very nice, mate.
And the recipe we are choosing today, on two recipes actually. The first of them, okay, is the Hickory Dickory one. Okay, there it is on your screen there. Alright? What you need for this is one packet of butter cake mix, one quantity of Vienna cream, hundreds and thousands liquids assorted round tubes, one toothpick, one prune, musk lollies or almond pieces. Okay? So make cake according to directions on packet. Okay? You pour the mixture into a greased deep 23 centimeter round cake tin. Bake in moderate oven for at least 15 minutes or until cooked when tested. Okay? So how to know when the cake is cooked? Okay, you've got to insert a skewer. You know.
Yeah, that's right, mate. So you insert a skewer, and if any of the cake mixture still sticks to the cake, then you know it's not cooked yet and you have to do it for a bit longer. If it comes out clean, then you know it's ready.
Alright, so here's Alex to read the instructions for you.
Okay, so if desired, tint Vienna cream with a few drops of yellow food colouring. With a knife dipped in hot water, spread Vienna cream evenly over cake. Place 15 centimeter diameter saucepan lid on top of the cake. Coat exposed top and sides with hundreds and thousands. Remove the saucepan lid carefully. Make numerals, clock hands and mouse tail from licorice. Place numerals and hands in position. Use coloured dupe for centre. Press coloured dupes around the edge of the clock face. Make winder by pressing 2 dupes onto a toothpick. Press into a clock prune with licorice piece for tail, small musks or almond pieces for eyes represents the mouse. There it is there.
So if you've got a child who loves a storybook favorite like the Hickory Dickory, watch this video for details. Now, the second cake today is an ice cream cake. So I'll just pause that while Alan gets ready. The second cake, okay, is a ship. Now, what you need for this is 2 empty cardboard boxes from foil, plastic food wrap, or wax paper, aluminium foil, okay, 2 liter carton of vanilla ice cream, red food coloring, purple food coloring, assorted sweets is shown, 85-gram packet of lime jelly crystals and licorice. So you've got to separate the lids from the boxes, undo one end of the box, clip or staple 2 sides pieces together. Okay, to join a point at the holes form to mount the body of the ship. Line both boxes with aluminium foil. Okay, place half of the softened ice cream, okay, and right, and Alan can read the rest.
Okay. Place half softened ice cream and a few drops of red food coloring in a bowl. Use potato masher to break down ice cream until just beginning to melt and color is even. Spoon mixture into mold for body of ship. Smooth top, cover with aluminium foil, freeze overnight or until firm. Tint 2/3 remaining ice cream with a few drops of purple food coloring. Break down with masher as above. Spoon mixture into the other box to 2/3 of its length. Fill the remaining space with rest of untinted ice cream. Smooth top, cover with aluminium foil, freeze overnight or until firm. Loosen edges, turn body out of ship from mold onto long chilled plate. Return to freezer, freeze until firm. Turn other ice cream out from mold onto a chill tray. Cut ice cream into 2 where colors meet. Cut 2.5 centimeter rounds from one end of plain ice cream. Cut away a 2.5 centimeter slice from side of remaining piece. Straighten edges. Round off corners at one end with a small knife. Cut away a 1 centimeter slice from other side of purple ice cream. Round off corners at one end. Return all pieces to freezer. Freeze until firm. Place white ice cream on top of purple ice cream. Then, with a long knife, slide the 2 layers on top of body of ship. Place one of the 2 cut out rounds on top of ship, the other at back as shown. Return cake to freezer, freeze until firm. Decorate with assorted sweets as shown by pressing sweets firmly into the cake. Return cake to freezer, freeze until firm. Make up jelly as directed on the packet. When set, chop up. Just before serving, spoon jelly around the ship. Add the anchor of licorice.
And there you have it.
Nice.
And we might as well show you the ice cream cake on the other page as well. So if you don't have time to bake the cake, guys, you can make ice cream cake instead. But remember, always use fresh ingredients. Here's Alec now.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. So make sure you use nice fresh ice cream or nice fresh cake ingredients if you're making a normal cream or ice cream.
Well, it's time to close the show. Well, we've come to the end of episode 95, which has come to you from the Narrowena studio. Number 8. Thank you so much for joining Alec and I today, and we hope that you've enjoyed the show as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. I'm sorry we couldn't take you all around the house today, but maybe next time when I'm off, we can, and it's a lovely day, we can take you for a walk around the park. Well, as usual, my community announcement, please do not ring 000 unless you have an emergency. Don't be an idiot with that number. Again, we're going to put it out there that the 000 operators will only deal with real emergencies. Please don't tell the operators absolute lies because they won't be impressed. Here's Alec now for his closing message on this.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. Always a good community service announcement. Only use 000 for emergencies.
And with the bushfire season about to start, I really do think is your urgency and emergency before you dial. If you've got a trivial issue, go to your medical centre, see your local GP. He or she may be able to prescribe you with some antibiotics to help treat what you've got. Although sometimes antibiotics do not cut the cake. And if you take medication when you don't really need it, okay, and you're well enough, please don't take it unless directed by your doctor, okay, because your body will get used to it, immune to it. Here's Alec now.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. That's a really important thing, isn't it, with medication, that you only take it as directed. Otherwise, your body becomes insensitive. You develop a tolerance for it. So make sure you don't take medication when you don't need it.
And we hope that you have enjoyed episode 95, which has come to you today from here in my studio, and we look forward to you watching on episode 96 coming up in a couple of weeks. So when will that be, Alex?
Oh, mate, so if the date's the 7th now, it'll be the 21st.
It will be the 21st when we meet with you at 1 o'clock. And next time on the show, we will be talking about healthy's lunchbox ideas for term 4 and how to get your child to and from school safely. And another important rule, never let your child go across the road unnecessarily or unsafely. Here's Alec now to take us out with that.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Good advice. Don't let children cross the road unsupervised until they're ready, until they're safe.
And look right, and if there are no cars coming, walk straight across, don't run. You have been watching the Barry Fear Show, episode 95, now has concluded at 6 minutes to 4 o'clock. Next time will be 1 o'clock when we next meet with you, and we do hope that you will join us then for that. Here's Alec now for his farewell.
Thanks for having me on the show, mate.
And a good show as always. The time now is 5 minutes to 4, and we'll see you next time now. Bye bye.